just returned from the beach with a lovely sized crab, and we're going to make some really delicious crab cakes. I'm going to start with some shallots, which I like to dice very finely. So simply cutting them in half, making some little slices in them. We want them nice and fine, so there's no obvious chunks in with the crab. And so if you haven't got a shallot, onions okay. It's more about cutting them nice and fine. So that's my shallot to cut, and what I'd like to do with it is just in a frying pan, a small piece of butter which I'm going to melt, add the shallots and cook them with no colour. Then I'm going to leave them to cool down. Okay, so my butter's melted. I'm simply going to scrape those off the board and then back onto the stove on a nice gentle heat. Give them about 5 minutes and they'll go nice and soft. So what we're going to put in it is some chilli. And you might think, wow, crab and chilli is such a delicate meat, it wouldn't really take it, but it works. Chilli works really, really well with crab. So I'm going to top it and simply cut them in half. And these are just medium sort of heat chilies. Anything else will be too hot. We really just want more of the flavour than the real hot heat from these. So now I've got them in half with the pith and seeds moved. I'm simply going to cut them into sort of little matchsticks, and then I can run my knife through them just to get a nice small chunk. In with a green chilli. Just run the knife through that. And the other ingredient we're going to add into this is some coriander. There's my chilli. Here's my coriander. Unlike other herbs, with coriander we use the stalk as well. So I'm simply going to run my knife through that. I want to keep that quite sort of chunky. I don't want it finely chopped. And the other ingredient, which may be a surprise to most people, what I have here is some water biscuits. Along with that, we just put 1 egg into it. And then I'm just going to put all that into one tub, and then crab cakes. So that's the rest of the ingredients ready. I'll just return to the shallot now. You can see that's softened down nicely. That's ready to go as well. And I'd just like to remove it from the hot pan and give it a chance to cool down while we're preparing the crab. Okay, so I've weighed the crab meat, and I've got 400 grams of white meat and 200 grams of brown meat. And all I've done with the brown meat is just mush it up with a fork, just to break it up. So what I'm going to do is, into my bowl, put 1 egg, some salt and pepper. Into that I'm going to put the brown meat, and then I'm going to mix that together. So that egg's just going to be the binder along with that brown meat. Then into that, this is the shallots that have been chopped finely, cooked in butter and allowed to cool down. They simply go in like that. Mix those around. And now the other ingredients. I have the chopped coriander and the chopped chilies, and at the bottom here the broken up water biscuits. And the biscuit at the moment is quite sort of crunchy, but what's going to happen when we pop it in the fridge for 10 minutes is the biscuit will do its job of absorbing the liquid and holding it all together. So simply in with the white crab meat, and then one final mix through. I'm simply going to mix that together like that, and I'm just going to pop that in the fridge just for a minimum of 10 minutes. Half an hour won't hurt it. So what we can do is now is make it into, or shape it into crab cakes. And so what I'm going to do because it's quite nice to have even sizes so that they obviously look the same and they look quite professional, is we could use an ice cream scoop. If you didn't have one of these, you could use a little cookie cutter where you just force the meat into it, or even a small ladle, just use it like an ice cream scoop and scoop it out. And I'll show you how I do this. It really makes it really quick. So just fill the scoop up and push it down, and then simply pop them out onto your board. I'm just going to do half a dozen, then I can show you how we're going to cook them. So that's my 6 crab cakes out onto the board, and all I'm going to do now is simply almost just pat them down. And there we have 6 even sized little pates or crab cakes ready to go into the frying pan. I'm going to cook them in butter. It just gives it a much more luxury sort of flavour. I'm simply going to melt the butter. Just handle them carefully. They are quite soft. So straight into there. Okay. I'm simply going to leave them sat there. Okay, so that's the crab cakes cooked. I'm going to plate them up. All I've got on my plate is some mixed leaves, and the only other thing I'm going to put with it is a little slice or wedge of lemon. So just 3 on the plate would be nice. It's a nice sized portion. There we go, 3 of those. Piece of lemon. Job done.